The apartment smelled like home when I woke that Tuesday morning. Jasmine from my diffuser, coffee brewing on a timer, and underneath it all, Jaiwan's scent. Cedar and rain. My alpha. My bonded mate. I stretched in our bed, reaching for him instinctively, but his side was cold. He texted last night that his business trip was running late, that he'd be home this morning instead. I checked my phone. Nothing. The unease started then, small and whispered. Our bond felt muted, like static on a radio station. I pushed it away. Jaiwan traveled for work. This was normal. Everything was fine. Except it wasn't. He came home at noon. I heard his key in the lock and rushed to the door, already smiling. 3 days apart felt like torture when you were bonded. My body ached for him, the Omega in me crying out for my alpha's presence. The door opened. Jaiwan stood there and my smile died. He looked destroyed. Dark circles carved under his eyes, his normally perfect hair a mess, his clothes wrinkled. But worse, far worse, was his scent. Sour with guilt and fear, acrid with stress. And underneath, something that made my stomach drop. Another Omega's scent. But the Jaiwan. My voice came out small. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Minjae, we need to talk. Those 4 words. Every Omega's nightmare. My legs felt weak, but I stepped back, letting him in. He moved past me slowly, carefully, like I might shatter. Maybe I already was. That's when I heard it. A soft cry. Tiny. Muffled. I looked down. Jaiwan was carrying a baby carrier, covered with a blanket. My brain couldn't process it. Couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. What? I breathed. Jaiwan set the carrier down gently on our couch, where we'd curled up together 1,000 times, and turned to me. His eyes were red-rimmed. He'd been crying. I did something unforgivable, he said, voice cracking. It was someone else. Another Omega. His name was Miho. The world tilted. It was past tense. I ended it after 4 months. I couldn't live with the guilt. But then he contacted me 2 weeks ago. He was pregnant. With my child. Jaiwan's voice broke completely. He went into labor 3 days ago. There were complications. He didn't make it, Minjae. He died on the table. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. My bond was screaming, fracturing, the connection between us splintering like broken glass in my chest. You cheated on me. The words felt foreign in my mouth. Yes. You got someone else pregnant. Yes. And you brought his baby here. My voice was rising now, hysteria creeping in. Into our home. You brought another Omega's child into our home. The baby started crying, startled by my voice. The sound cut through me like a knife. Jaiwan moved toward the carrier, but I grabbed his arm. My nails dug into his skin. Don't you dare, I hissed. Don't you dare comfort that baby before you explain to me how you destroyed everything we built. He flinched like I'd struck him. I wanted him to hurt. Wanted him to feel a fraction of the agony tearing me apart. I was weak, he whispered. We were fighting so much last year, remember? About work, about you wanting to wait before having children, about my mother's expectations. And Miho, he was at the company, he was kind, and I made a mistake. A mistake. I laughed, sharp and broken. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This is betrayal. You betrayed our bond, Jaiwan. You let another Omega touch you. You put yourself inside him. I couldn't finish. I was going to be sick. I ran to the bathroom and vomited, my body rejecting everything. The bond sickness was already starting. When mates betrayed each other, the Omega suffered physically. Fever, nausea, weakness. My body knew what my mind was still trying to deny. Jaiwan appeared in the doorway. Minute, please. Get out. I screamed. Get out, get out. The baby needs. I don't care about the baby. The words ripped from me, ugly and raw. That baby is the proof that I wasn't enough for you. That our bond meant nothing. Jaiwan's face crumpled. Our bond means everything. That's why I'm here, why I'm telling you the truth. Miho's parents don't want the child. He has no one. I'm his father and I need help. I can't do this alone. The audacity. The sheer, stunning audacity of asking me, the mate he'd betrayed, to help raise his love child. I stood on shaking legs, gripping the sink. So let me understand this. You want me to play house with you and the baby you made while cheating with someone else? You want me to look at that child every single day and be reminded that you chose another Omega over me? I never chose him over you. You put your child in him. My voice broke into a sob. You gave him what you wouldn't give me. I wanted to wait 1 more year to be stable, and you said you understood, but then you went and... I couldn't continue. I was crying too hard, my whole body shaking with the force of it. Jaiwan took a step toward me, and I felt it through our bond. His desperate love, his crushing guilt, his terror of losing me. But I also felt the truth he wasn't saying. He had cared for Miho. Maybe not loved, but cared. Enough to keep going back for 4 months. I should reject the bond, I whispered. I should throw you out and never see you again. I know. His voice was hollow. I deserve that. The baby was still crying in the living room. The sound pulled at something primal in me, something I hated feeling. 1 month, I heard myself say. The baby can stay for 1 month while you figure out another solution. Adoption, a nanny, I don't care. But I won't raise your bastard child, Jaiwan. I won't. He nodded, tears streaming down his face. Thank you. Don't thank me. And don't touch me. Sleep in the guest room. We're not mates right now. We're just 2 people trapped in a nightmare. I walked past him, past the crying baby, into our bedroom, and locked the door. Then I collapsed on the floor and sobbed until I had nothing left inside me. Everything I'd believed in, our bond, our love, our future, had died today. I just didn't know yet if it could ever be resurrected. The first week, I didn't hold the baby once. I couldn't even look at him. Haneul, Jaiwan had named him Heaven's Sky. The irony was suffocating. There was nothing heavenly about the hell we were living in. I moved through our apartment like a ghost. Jaiwan took the guest room as ordered. We created a schedule on a shared document, cold, clinical, nothing like the couple who used to fight over who got to make breakfast for the other. He had Haneul from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I took 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Overnight, we alternated. We barely spoke. My body was deteriorating. The bond's sickness hit hard. I ran a constant low fever, food tasted like ash, and I'd lost 8 pounds in 7 days. My Omega biology was punishing me for staying near an alpha who'd violated our bond. Some nights I woke up vomiting. Others, I just laid in bed, feeling the phantom pain of our connection trying to sever itself. My mother called every day. Leave him, she begged. Come home. This isn't your burden to bear. But I couldn't explain why I stayed. Partly for Haneul, innocent, helpless. Partly because some pathetic piece of me still loved Jaiwan, even as I hated him. The bond wouldn't just switch off, no matter how much I wanted it to. On day 9, I made the mistake of going through Jaiwan's phone while he was in the shower. He'd left it on the counter, unlocked. The universe's cruelest gift. I found the messages with Miho. Hundreds of them. My hands shook as I scrolled. I miss you already. Miho, 3 months ago. I'm sorry. This has to stop. I have a mate. Jaiwan's reply. I know. I'm sorry too. But these months with you, I've never felt so cared for. I wanted to stop reading. I couldn't. There were photos. Miho was beautiful, delicate features, soft smile, everything in Omega was supposed to be. Everything I apparently wasn't. There was one of them at a cafe, Miho laughing at something off camera. Jaiwan had taken that photo. Had looked at Miho with enough affection to capture that moment. Then I found the last message, sent 2 weeks ago. Jaiwan, I'm pregnant. It's yours. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I'll take care of everything. I promise. You're not alone. But Miho had been alone. Alone when he died on that table, bleeding out while bringing Jaiwan's child into the world. I dropped the phone like it burned me. That night was my turn with Haneul. He woke at 3 a.m., screaming. Not hungry, I checked. Not wet. Just crying the way babies do when they sense something's wrong with the world. I stood over his crib in the converted office, watching him. 1 month old. Tiny fists waving. Miho's nose. Jaiwon's eyes. I should hate you, I whispered. You ruined my life before you were even born. He just cried harder. Something in me broke, different from before. Not shattering. Cracking open. I picked him up. He was so small. Warm and fragile against my chest. His crying quieted to whimpers as I rocked him, my body moving on instinct. I'm sorry, I found myself saying. I'm so sorry. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. I don't know how long I stood there, swaying in the dark. But gradually, my Omega instincts took over. I started scenting him without meaning to, rubbing my wrist against his soft hair, letting my scent calm him. His tiny body relaxed, and he made a small, content sound. The bond started forming then. I felt it, delicate threads connecting my heart to this child who had nothing to do with his father's sins. Terror flooded me. No, I couldn't love him. Loving him meant staying. Meant accepting this situation. Meant forgiving the unforgivable. I put Haneul back in his crib, but he immediately started crying again. So I picked him up once more. And again. And again. By sunrise, I'd accepted the truth. It was already too late. Some part of me had already claimed this baby as mine. Week 3 brought a new nightmare. A couple appeared at our door, Miho's parents. His mother's face was carved with grief, his father's with rage. We want our grandson, his mother said. Miho told us about everything. We know what your alpha did to our son. My blood ran cold. Haneul is being cared for. By the Omega whose mate destroyed our son's life? His father's voice was sharp. Miho died because of your alpha's selfishness. We won't let his child be raised by the people who caused his death. Jaiwon appeared behind me, and I hated that I instinctively stepped aside to let him handle it. Alpha dynamics, even now. Miho told me you disowned him when you found out he was pregnant, Jaiwon said quietly. That you called him shameful. The mother's face flushed. We were angry. We didn't mean, we never thought he'd. She broke down sobbing. We want custody, the father repeated. We'll see you in court. After they left, Jaiwon and I stood in heavy silence. What do you want to do? He finally asked. It was the first real question he'd asked me in 3 weeks. I thought about Haneul's smile this morning when I'd fed him. The way he grabbed my finger. The sound of his breathing while he slept against my chest. I want to keep him, I whispered, shocked by my own words. Jaiwon's eyes widened. Minjae, don't. I held up a hand. This doesn't mean I forgive you. This doesn't mean we're okay. But Haneul is innocent and My voice cracked. I've bonded with him. He's mine now. Ours. We'll fight for him together, Jaiwon said softly. I finally met his eyes, really looked at him for the first time since that terrible day. He looked as destroyed as I felt. Dark circles, permanent fixtures now. His scent was diminished, depressed. I need to know something, I said. Did you love him? Jaiwon was quiet for a long moment. I cared for him. He was kind when I was hurting. But love? Real love. He stepped closer, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. I've only ever truly loved you, Minjae. That's why the guilt ate me alive. That's why I ended it. Because every time I was with him, all I could think about was you. How I was destroying you. How I was destroying us. It wasn't enough. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was the truth. I could feel it through our damaged bond. Sleep in the living room tonight, I said. Haneul needs to stay in our room. He's been fussy, and I need to be close to him. I'd said our room. Jaiwon heard it too. Hope flickered across his face before he carefully extinguished it. Whatever you need, he said. That night, I laid in bed with Haneul in his bassinet beside me. I could hear Jaiwon moving around in the living room, settling onto the couch. Tomorrow we'd meet with a lawyer. Start fighting for custody. Present ourselves as a united front. But tonight I let myself feel everything. The betrayal. The anger. The grief for what we'd lost. And underneath it all, terrifying and undeniable, the first fragile shoots of something that might, someday, If I was brave enough and foolish enough, become forgiveness. For months passed like walking through broken glass. Painful, careful, exhausting. Haneul was thriving. At 5 months old, he'd started laughing, reaching for toys, recognizing faces. My face especially. When I came home from my part-time job at the library, his whole body would wiggle with excitement. That joy felt like betrayal and blessing all at once. I'd stopped correcting myself when I called him, my baby. The words just came now, natural as breathing. Jaiwan noticed. Of course he did. You're amazing with him, he said one evening, watching me give Haneul a bath. He loves you so much. I didn't respond. We developed this strange routine, civil co-parents who barely touched, barely spoke beyond logistics. But I caught him watching me sometimes, hope naked on his face. Like my love for Haneul might somehow transfer back to him. It made me furious. Don't, I said sharply, not looking up from Haneul's bath. Don't what? Don't look at me like that. Like this means anything between us. I'm here for him, Jaiwan. Only him. The hope died in his eyes. But he didn't deserve hope. Except I was lying. To him. To myself. The truth was more complicated, more painful. Sometimes I'd catch Jaiwan singing to Haneul in the middle of the night, his voice soft and tender. Sometimes I'd find little notes he'd left, made extra japchae your favorite in the fridge, or, you look tired, I took the 3 a.m. feeding. Small acts of care that chipped away at my armor. I hated that they affected me. The court hearing was scheduled for Monday. Miho's parents had filed for custody, claiming Jaiwan was an unfit father and I was an unwilling caregiver forced into the situation. Our lawyers said we needed to prove our home was stable, that we were committed parents. You'll need to demonstrate a strong bond, the lawyer had said. Both of you. The courts favor traditional family structures. So we practiced lying. Holding hands. Sitting close. Jaiwan would put his arm around me, and I'd resist the urge to flinch away. My body remembered loving him, even as my heart stayed locked tight. The Friday before the hearing, everything fell apart. I came home early from work and found Jaiwan on the couch, holding a photograph. His shoulders were shaking, crying, silent and wrecking. The photo was of Miho, pregnant, glowing. Something venomous rose in my throat. You kept that? Jaiwan's head snapped up. Minjae, I didn't hear. You kept a picture of him. My voice was ice. Of your dead lover. In our home. He's Haneul's mother. He's the Omega you slept with while bonded to me. I was screaming now, months of barely controlled rage exploding. You're crying over him? Over him. I'm crying because a person died, Minjae. Because Haneul will never know his birth parent. Because I caused so much destruction. Then leave. I grabbed the photo and threw it across the room. Glass shattered. Leave, Jaiwan. Take your guilt and your memories and get out. You don't mean that. I do. God, I hate this. I hate seeing you every day. I hate that I'm raising your illegitimate child. I hate that some stupid part of me still. I stopped horrified. Jaiwan went very still. Still what? Nothing. Minjae. He stood, moving toward me. Still what? Don't touch me. I backed away, but he followed. You still love me. His voice cracked with desperate hope. After everything, you still. Don't you dare. I shoved him hard. Don't you dare use that against me. Yes, I still love you. I hate that I do. The bond won't let me stop, and every day it's torture because I can't forget what you did. Jaiwan reached for me and I finally let him. I collapsed against his chest, sobbing, while he held me like I was something precious he'd already broken once. I'm so sorry, he whispered into my hair. I'm so sorry. I'd take it back if I could. I'd do anything. But you can't. I pulled away, wiping my face. You can't undo it. That's the problem. We're stuck here, in this nightmare you created, and I don't know how to forgive you. I don't know if I even can. Haneul started crying from his room. He always sensed when I was upset. I'll get him, Jaiwan said quietly. No. I will. I needed space, needed air, needed to hold the one pure thing in this disaster. I picked up Haneul, and he immediately calmed against my chest. His little hand grabbed my shirt, and he made his happy sound, this soft coo that melted me every time. At least one good thing came from this mess, I whispered to him. You're the only good thing. Monday came too fast. The courtroom was sterile and cold. Miho's parents sat across from us, his mother crying silently. Our lawyer had coached us extensively. Jaiwan held my hand. It felt both foreign and familiar. The judge reviewed the case files, then looked at us. I want to hear from the Omega. You're not the biological parent, correct? No, Your Honor, I said, voice steady despite my racing heart. Why are you fighting for this child? Everyone waited. Miho's father leaned forward, probably expecting me to crumble, to admit I was trapped. But when I opened my mouth, only truth came out. Because he's mine, I said simply. Not by blood. By choice. I've given him every bottle, changed every diaper, walked him through every crying fit at 3 a.m. I know his favorite lullaby. I know he likes being held on the left side better than the right. I know his birth parent died bringing him into this world, and that's a tragedy that will shape his life. I looked at Miho's parents. I know you're grieving, but Haneul needs stability. He needs parents who've been there since day one, who love him not because of whose DNA he carries, but because he's ours. I'd said ours. The judge studied me for a long moment. Then she looked at Jaiwan. And you, Alpha? What do you say? I say I don't deserve this Omega's grace, Jaiwan said, voice rough. I destroyed our life together through my own selfishness. But Minjae stayed anyway. For Haneul. Because that's the kind of person he is, loyal, loving, better than I'll ever be. Haneul is blessed to have him as a parent. Something in my chest cracked open. The judge made her ruling. Custody stayed with us, with supervised visitation for Miho's parents twice a month. Outside the courthouse, Miho's mother approached us. Take care of him, she whispered. Please. He's all we have left of our son. I will, I promised. Always. In the car going home, Jaiwan broke the silence. You called him ours. I know. Does that mean? I looked at him, really looked at him. He'd lost weight. His scent was still sad, still guilty. He'd been sleeping on that couch for 4 months, never complaining, never pushing. I don't know what it means, I said honestly. But I need to ask you something, and you need to tell me the complete truth. Anything. Did you love him? Mio. Not care about. Love. Jaiwan was quiet for several heartbeats. When he spoke, his voice was barely audible. No. I cared for him because he was gentle when I was struggling. But love? The kind that consumes you? The kind that makes you want to be better? He turned to face me fully. I've only ever felt that for you, Minjae. You're my mate. My bonded. The only Omega I've ever truly loved. That's why what I did was so unforgivable. I knew exactly what I was destroying, and I did it anyway. The truth rang through our bond, clear and pure. It didn't erase the pain. Didn't fix what was broken. But it was a start. Okay, I whispered. Okay. Ask me again tomorrow night. After Haneul's in bed. If I want to try. Really try. I swallowed hard. I can't promise anything. But maybe we can talk about what trying would look like. Jaiwan's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Thank you for even considering. Don't thank me yet, I interrupted. This is going to be hard. Harder than anything. And I might still decide I can't do it. I understand. We drove home in silence, but it felt different. Less frozen. Like ice beginning to thaw. That night, I asked Jaiwan to stay in the bedroom doorway while I put Haneul down. To sit present. He did. And when Haneul finally slept, I turned to find Jaiwan watching us with such love and longing that my carefully constructed walls trembled. Tomorrow night, I reminded him. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, he agreed. I didn't know if I was making the biggest mistake of my life or the bravest choice. But for Haneul, for the family we'd accidentally become, I was willing to find out. I didn't sleep that night. Just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to Haneul's soft breathing beside me and Jaiwan's movements in the living room. Tomorrow I'd have to decide, try to rebuild, or walk away forever. By morning, I still didn't have an answer. Jaiwan made breakfast, my favorite kimchi jjigae. He set it down wordlessly, not meeting my eyes. His hands shook slightly. He was terrified. But he should be. Tonight, I said, after Haneul sleeps. He nodded and left for work. The day dragged endlessly. I kept picking up my phone to call my mother, my best friend, anyone who could tell me what to do. But this decision was mine alone. At 7 p.m., I bathed Haneul, singing the lullaby he loved. He grabbed my finger, gurgling happily. 6 months old now, growing so fast. He deserved a stable home. But did that mean I had to sacrifice my dignity? My self-respect? Or was there a way to rebuild that honored both who I was and who we might become? Jaiwan came home at 8, exactly when he said he would. That had been his pattern for months. Punctual, reliable, proving he could be trusted with the small things while I decided about the big ones. I got Thai food, he said quietly. From that place you like. And ice cream. The green tea flavor. My favorite. He remembered. At 9, Haneul finally slept. I found Jaiwan on the couch, looking like he was facing execution. So, I said, sitting in the chair across from him. Distance still necessary. If we're going to try, and that's if everything changes. You don't get me back just because time passed or because we're raising Haneul together. I understand. I have conditions. Non-negotiable. Jaiwan leaned forward. Tell me. I'd spent all day making this list, refining it. First, therapy. Couples counseling with someone who specializes in omega trauma and infidelity. And you need individual therapy too. Done. I'll find someone tomorrow. Second, complete transparency. Phone, email, schedule. I need access to everything. No passwords, no privacy. You lost that right. His jaw tightened, but he nodded. Okay. Third, you stay in the guest room until I say otherwise. Could be months. Could be years. I decide when we share a bed again, and I decide what happens in that bed. Yes. Fourth, no bonding. No scenting. No physical intimacy beyond what I initiate. You don't touch me unless I explicitly give permission. Understood. His voice was strained now. Fifth, this one was hardest. You need to tell people. Our friends, our families, your coworkers. What you did. What you're trying to fix. I won't live in a lie where everyone thinks we're perfect while I'm dying inside. Jaiwan went pale. Minjae, my reputation, is less important than my healing. My voice was steel. You want me back? You face the consequences publicly. You own what you did. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, you're right. I'll do it. Last condition, if I say stop, we stop. If I decide I can't forgive you, you accept it. No begging, no guilt trips. You let me go. That's the hardest one, he whispered. But yes, if that's what you need. I studied him. He looked sincere, desperate, determined. But words were easy. Actions would be the test. We start therapy this week, I said. I'll find someone tomorrow. Thank you. His eyes were wet. Thank you for this chance. I know I don't deserve. You don't, I interrupted. But I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. Because I need to know I tried everything before I walk away. And I'm doing it for Haneul, so he has a chance at a whole family. Whatever your reasons, I'll take it. That first therapy session was brutal. Dr. Yoon specialized in omega trauma. She was older, sharp-eyed, and took no nonsense. Why are you here? She asked me. Because my bonded mate cheated on me, got another Omega pregnant, and brought that child home after the Omega died in childbirth. Dr. Yoon didn't even blink. And you stayed. For the baby. Just the baby? I hesitated. No. Also because some pathetic part of me still loves him. That's not pathetic, she said firmly. Bonds don't break easily. That's biology, not weakness. She turned to Jaiwan. And you? Why are you here? To fix what I destroyed. Can you fix it? I don't know, Jaiwan admitted. But I have to try. Wrong answer, Dr. Yoon said. You can't fix the past. You can only build something new from the rubble. The question is whether Minjae wants to build with you, or if he needs to build alone. Over the following weeks, we excavated everything. I screamed about the betrayal. Jaiwan cried about his weakness. Dr. Yoon pushed us to the rawest places. What were you really looking for with Miho? She asked Jaiwan during week 3. I don't know. Escape? Validation? I was struggling with work pressure, with feeling inadequate as an alpha. So you used another Omega to feel better about yourself? I interrupted bitterly. Yes. Jaiwan didn't defend himself. Yes, I did. And Miho deserved better. You deserved better. I was selfish and cowardly. Are you still? Dr. Yoon pressed. I'm trying not to be. He looked at me. I'm trying to be the alpha you thought you bonded with. At home, small things changed. Jaiwan left notes, real ones, not just logistics. You looked beautiful today. Thank you for giving me this chance. I love you. I never stopped. I didn't respond to them, but I kept them. He started cooking dinner every night. My favorite foods, perfectly prepared. He'd plate mine carefully, leave it on the table, then eat alone in the kitchen to give me space. One night I said, "You can eat with me." His face lit up like I'd given him the moon. We ate in silence, but it was companionable. Haneul babbled from his high chair between us, and for a moment, we almost looked like a normal family. He has your smile, Jaiwan said softly. He's not mine biologically. I know, but he smiles the way you do, like the whole world is worth loving. Something warm flickered in my chest. Dangerous. 3 months into therapy, Dr. Yoon asked me, what would forgiveness look like? I don't know if I can forgive. That's not what I asked. If you could, what would it look like? I thought for a long time. It would look like remembering but not drowning, trusting again without being stupid, loving him while also loving myself enough to have boundaries. That's good, she said. Now ask yourself, is he giving you space to build that? I looked at Jaiwan. He was thinner now, still tired, but there was something different in his eyes. Determination. Commitment. Yes, I admitted. He is. For months in, I had a breakdown. Haneul's first birthday was approaching, and I couldn't stop thinking about Miho. He'd never see his son grow up, never hear him laugh, never hold him. He should be here, I sobbed to Jaiwan. We were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, close but not touching. Haneul's birth parent should be here. I know. Jaiwan's voice was thick with grief. Did he know he was dying? Was he scared? I don't know. I wasn't there in time. Jaiwan broke down. I should have been there. He was alone, Minjae. He died alone because I was too much of a coward to tell you sooner, to deal with consequences sooner. We both cried then, for the Omega who'd died, for the mess we'd made, for the child who'd never know his birth parent. Without thinking, I moved closer, took Jaiwan's hand. He froze, staring at our joined hands like he couldn't believe it. It's not your fault he died, I whispered. The affair was your fault. The betrayal was. But his death? That was tragedy, not murder. I still feel responsible. I know. I squeezed his hand. We'll tell Haneul about him. When he's old enough. We'll make sure he knows Miho loved him enough to bring him into the world. Thank you, Jaiwan breathed, for being kinder than I deserve. For the first time in 6 months, I didn't pull away when he squeezed my hand back. On Haneul's first birthday, we had a small party. My parents came, hesitant but trying. Jaiwan's mother brought too many gifts and too many questions we deflected. After everyone left, exhausted, I found Jaiwan cleaning up. Leave it, I said. Come sit with me. We sat on the couch, closer now, almost touching. I've been thinking, I started, about what Dr. Yoon said, about building something new instead of fixing what broke. Okay. Jaiwan's voice was careful. I don't think I can ever fully forgive you. Not in the way people mean, where everything goes back to normal. His face fell. But, I continued, I think I can choose you anyway. I think I can build something different with you. Not what we had before, that's dead. Something harder, more honest. Built on shattered pieces. Minjae, I'm not finished. I took a deep breath. I need you to understand, there will be bad days. Days I remember and hate you. Days I can't stand to be touched. Days I wonder if I'm stupid for trying. I understand. And you have to be okay with that. Forever. This isn't something you can fix and move past. It's going to be part of us always. I know. He turned to face me fully. I know I broke something irreparable. But if you're willing to build something new, even something imperfect and scarred, I'll spend my life proving I can be trusted with it. I studied his face. The face I'd loved for years, betrayed by, cried over. The face of my bonded mate. Okay, I whispered. Okay. Okay, we try. Really try. I reached out tentatively, touching his face. He leaned into my hand like he was starving for it. Can I? He asked carefully, can I hold you? I nodded. He pulled me close, carefully, reverently. I let myself sink into him, feeling our bond pulse with cautious hope. It wasn't healed. Maybe it would never fully heal. But it was there, still connecting us. I love you, he whispered into my hair. I never stopped. I never will. I know. I closed my eyes. I love you too. God help me, I do. We sat like that for a long time, holding each other and the pieces of what we'd been, trying to figure out what we might become. 2 years later, everything was different. Better. Still imperfect. We'd renewed our bond in a private ceremony. Just us, Haneul, and Dr. Yoon as witness. New vows. New promises. Acknowledgement that we were choosing each other despite everything. Jaiwon had proven himself in 1,000 small ways. Therapy every week. Complete transparency. Patience when I had bad days. Slowly, gradually, trust rebuilt. Now I was 6 months pregnant with our biological child. A daughter. Haneul's going to be a good big brother, Jaiwon said, watching our son play. He is. I touched my belly. Think we can do this? Raise 2 kids with all our baggage? I think we're already doing it. He kissed my temple, casual affection, earned over months. We survived the worst. We can handle anything. I leaned against him, watching Haneul laugh. Our son. Our family. Built from betrayal and pain and the stubborn choice to love anyway. It wasn't the happy ending I'd imagined 5 years ago. It was something harder. More real. And somehow, that made it more precious. Yeah, I agreed quietly. We can handle anything.